Hey guys, how we doing today? Super excited to bring you an actual user review of this brand new Champion Pro model 201091 40-ton log splitter. This thing is an absolute beast. I got it put together about a week and a half ago and got busy with, well, everything, life. And weather wasn't cooperating, so finally getting some time to get out here today with you guys and do a quick overview. What I want to point out here first, for starters, I've never used this before. I put it together, I cycled it a few times to make sure I was up and running, and this is going to be a first user experience. Never ran this, never split any wood with it. If I show you the splitting head here, you can see that it's all brand new, fresh paint still on there. So you're going to get my first impressions of it. I've got lots of experience with 25, 27 ton range in the Champion and a couple other brands, but never anything this big. This is a brand new model for them, and I think it's like with anything, you know, you're buying a vehicle or an outdoor power equipment item, and you always want to go a little bit bigger. Well, I just decided to go the biggest that I could. Why? Well, I'm getting some bigger rounds. My in-laws have a sawmill, so we're getting some large, like odd-shaped ends, sometimes some pieces that otherwise just would be far too difficult to split by hand. So thought, why not just have the biggest I need, and then I never have to worry about it again. So check out my overview video. I cover some of this stuff. We're going to do a quick rundown of this. So first of all, what's new? What's different? Well, if you look at the support wheel here, dual wheels. This goes over the grass and the various terrain nice. You've got a nice wide footprint here. So sometimes the single wheels, if it gets so heavy up here on the tongue, it wants to sink into the ground. So I was excited to see that. Also, you get this nice coupler attachment here. So, you know, pull your pin out. You've got just this nice big platform to lots of surface area for you to grab on and secure the ball hitch. 2-inch ball. So this pretty much is the standard size. Seems like just about anything nowadays, even some larger trailers have 2-inch balls, so should be pretty convenient for towing. Speaking of, as long as we're on it, you actually have highway rated tires and bearings, up to 70-mile-an-hour tow speed. So this is new for me. My previous models have only been able to handle, you know, just what, 30 miles an hour or something. You certainly could not take them down the highway. So this is a huge plus. I can actually hook my truck up to this, bring it down the road, and I'm good to go. You've got nice fenders, reflectors on the back here, so you can be seen. As far as the engine, Champion's got their own Champion branded, which they do for most of their equipment, 338cc engine. This is a big motor, and it's all or nothing. There's no throttle control. When you run this, it is running full blast. Hydraulic reservoir tank is right here, holds up to 12 gallons. I ended up putting 11 in there, and I could see in my sight glass I was good to go as far as the hydraulic level. This is a 40-ton model. It's got a massive beam. It's just, the thing is, it's really impressive how heavy duty this is. I like they put an engine guard. We were talking about the engine earlier, but there's a log guard here. So say you're splitting, that log falls off and hits this, it's going to hit your guard here before hitting the engine. So I like that. One gripe I had with my previous model, the log catches here were definitely not sufficient. These are quite stout. As you can see, there's only just a few relief cutouts in here, but you've got plenty nice reinforced supports here. A smaller one on this side. This is the side that you're operating from, so real easy to get logs off and go to your next. Hydraulic filter. This was also new for me for the Champions. So you've got constant filtration going. They even have arrows so you know which way your fluid's going. Your fluid that's returning back into the tank then is getting filtered. This is a spin-on filter, very, very easy to change. Given the capacity that this has, up to 12 gallons, I really appreciate having a filter on here. That's just going to prolong the life. Speaking of filters and oil, this is hydraulic oil, but as far as the engine oil goes, very easy to change. Look at this. You can put your drip pan right here, set it underneath, and you're draining oil. Break-in is 5 hours, so after that 5-hour mark, you should change over your oil based on your temperature region, and all of that is easy to find in your manual. Speaking of manual, storage tube. Typically, once I get going, I don't look at the manual much, but at the very beginning, it's nice to have it here, because if I want to know how long I've been running, like when should I be checking my hydraulic oil, when should I be checking my engine oil, things like that, it's all right here. Air filters under this cover, easy to access, easy to get to. You always want to check up on that. Let's get into it here. So the log return, so all the way forward, obviously you're going to go forward. It's got a neutral position, and then on the return, notice how it stayed locked back. It will stay locked back until your cycle completes itself. Then it's going to go forward back into that neutral position. It's just called that auto return. So the nice thing about that is you can make it go backwards, deal with your log as it's coming back, and then on its own it's going to stop and be ready for you again there. So it's just a nice feature to have. I like that. Cycle times on these, they're a little bit longer. So you can't say that, you know, well, I don't like an 11-second cycle time or whatnot. Well, that might be a little bit longer, but it's also a 40-ton unit. Remember the size and the capability of a unit this size. So while it's true, sometimes shorter cycle times can be nice. I think for most of us, you'll see me go at a normal pace here. This is plenty fine, plenty sufficient. I'm going to let the volume speak for itself here on how loud this is. It's a big motor. These things aren't super quiet. That's why I always have, I've got eyes on, ear protection, gloves. I'll let you hear it, what it actually sounds like. So if you got headphones on, maybe watch out. But then I'm going to turn down the volume that you're hearing and probably do a voiceover, and I can talk to you about what I'm experiencing, what I think of it, and we'll go from there. So without further ado, and I want to prove that this is a cold engine. I didn't preheat this. It's not warmed up. This is your muffler here. So I'm going to get you guys mounted up here and we're going to get started. So we got the choke. Already got my fuel on. That's a spring-loaded switch, so really that's all I got to do here. And give it a pull. Guys, I apologize. I am not a professional YouTuber. I try to do these in one take. I had a few times where the camera fell off trying to get better angles so you guys could get some different perspectives and whatnot. So the audio is going to come on here in just a moment. So bear with me. Thanks for your patience. Appreciate your support. Alright, I'm going to step in here and do a little voiceover. I know that can get loud for you guys with headphones, but this particular piece here had some really wicked knots and crotches in it and whatnot, and this was the first time that the two-stage pump on this unit got to kick in for me, and boy does it have power. The difference between my 25-ton and this one are night and day. This has, I believe, almost a 25-gallon per minute hydraulic pump, and that's significant. So what happens is that first stage is your sort of high speed. If you've got some easy split and stuff, that first stage at high speed is just going to be ripping through it, sort of like you're seeing now. But when you get into that really gnarly, knotty, sort of stringy, especially when you get, like, I find it with some with ash that have the crotches in them, but of course with oak as well, this is able just to blast through them, no problem. So what I'm pointing at here, this is the beam tilt. So you pull that out and then grab hold of that handle and you can flip the entire beam up. Notice how the hoses are nice and vertical. There's no kinks there. You grab this little bar here, that lock, and that just helps lock the beam into the hydraulic reservoir. So it keeps everything locked up there, keeps everything nice and safe. The vertical splitting is nice when you get into these bigger rounds. This one here I believe is about 24, 25 inches. So once you get that on there, it just makes it a lot easier than having to try to manhandle it and get it up on the bar. And as you can see with this big maul, I just knocked those out of the way. Here's a first-person angle for you, kind of a neat view. But yeah, I just discard those stringy little kind of cut-off pieces and put those off to the side, and then you can reposition from the ground here, which I find to be a lot more convenient. The vertical splitting is nice. I really only use it for these really big, really heavy. Notice what I did there is I kind of stabbed the log, didn't get it in the place I wanted. So rather than fight it, I just let the log catches grab it on the way back up, and it dropped right down for me. Super simple. But you can operate this quite easily. I'm also looking at the camera here, otherwise I'd be a little bit quicker. There was a few times here you'll notice in the edits where one time even the camera flew off and got hit by a piece of wood. So when I'm doing this by myself and I'm focusing just on the operation here, it's a lot easier. As you can see, every so often I just kind of clean off the unit when you get a lot of bark and other debris down there. It just makes for a nice, stable splitting platform. Some of the wood I have here that I'm splitting today that you're seeing now, I've got some oak, there's also ash, and some pine. So now to get that beam back in the vertical position, I like to put my foot on the reservoir tank and then just slowly rock that beam back. And I'll give Champion credit here, they really got a nice balance on this beam. Make sure that pin is locked back in, and now you're back into the horizontal position. It is quite heavy. Remember, this is a stout unit. So take your time. This is what you're getting, though, for a 40-ton commercial grade pro model. The way I look at this is for the professional homeowner, or maybe even somebody who has a small wood lot. You know, maybe you're selling at the roadside. You're just not quite to the point where you need a processor. This is a professional grade unit. This is made to work. And I had this thing running for maybe about an hour and a half in total. And what I did notice is that the hydraulic reservoir tank does get warm. I mean, that's essentially like a big radiator for you. So just keep that in mind. If you make sure you don't touch the metal coupler fittings, the metal hose fittings, because those do get warm. So just something to keep an eye on. Kind of a neat angle here again. One thing I did like about this is I can put this on my four-wheeler and I can just tow it super easy. I don't even mess around. It just works great. I've been really happy with this. I got probably close to 2 hours on it now, and it's been a very good unit. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments below. I might have some affiliate links down there. I don't get paid for these reviews, but if you click on my affiliate link, it doesn't cost you anything more to look at the products, but I get a small commission if you make a purchase, and you pay the same price. So I appreciate everything you guys have done, and again, we look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks again, and take care.